Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. As cinemas are starting to close, I'm trying to see as many films as I can before that ultimately happens, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen here, but it probably will. We've lost half the cinemas already. So in the next few weeks, if I can, I'm going to start to see as much as possible and do as many views as I can. So today I'm reviewing The Way Back. This was directed by Gavin and stars Ben Affleck. The film really focuses on Jack Cunningham, played by Ben Affleck. A man who a year earlier had suffered a tragedy and is now relying on alcohol to mask his true pain. His life starts to spiral out of control, which has cost him his marriage and any hope for a better life. When he is asked to coach the basketball team at his alumni matter, which has fallen far from its glory days, he reluctantly accepts, surprising no one more than himself. And him becoming this coach sort of helps him through the difficulties he's having. He stops drinking, and he ultimately is so focused on the team and trying to make them as best they can. And by helping them get better, it's sort of a way of helping him get better. It's really a story of redemption, of fighting back and becoming the person you want to be and not letting things get in your road or let anything derail you from what you're trying to achieve. I liked this film. I thought it was a solid film. Gavin I think is a really solid director. I really liked Warrior, and I was a big fan of The Accountant that also starred Ben Affleck. And he has this real great ability of crafting simple stories with a lot of heart, and this is a great example of that. It does have a lot of heart, and it is trying to tell this story of this man who suffered a loss and how he's trying to come to terms with that and how things can affect him along the way. I think Ben Affleck gives one of his best performances of his career. I think the best performance. He's just so fantastic in this. You really believe he is this person and that he is struggling through alcoholism. And I think there's relatability there for him. As he's stated, he's a recovering alcoholic. So he related to that aspect of the character, and I think that gave him experience to play that character in a convincing way. It's simply shot. It's all the other performances are solid and on par with Affleck's. He shines a bit more than they do, but they sort of stand out. I like how each one of the team members on the basketball team are really well defined, and you sort of can tell who they are, and they're sort of separate from each other. And there is moments where he sort of pries into their life or tries to help them, and we get to learn things about them. But that doesn't happen with all of them. It's just a handful that they really focus on for the reasons of the story. It does follow suit like a lot of other films in regards to, this mentoring, man who's struggling with things, who takes on a coach sort of role with a particular basketball, football, whatever sort of team. And it's sort of how he shapes those particular players and young men, and also helping that character to deal with something they might be struggling with. So on that part, it sort of follows, it's very similar to those movies. There isn't anything original in regards to that. But it is Ben Affleck's performance that rises this up a little bit more than those particular films. The only negatives I would say about it is there's a lot of sequences that are shot in the dark and you can't see a lot of what's going on, which I thought was a little disappointing. I just kept thinking, can't you just turn on a light somewhere? And I know it was Jack Cunningham's story, but I just felt that they could have spent a bit more time on other characters. They could have been a bit more hard-hitting on particular members of the basketball team and the struggles that they were going through, and him sort of mentoring them a little bit more in that sort of element. There are little bits of that, especially one particular young guy on the basketball team who's very capable and one of the best players on the team, but he isn't very confident, and Jack sort of helps him bring that out of him. But I just felt they could have focused on that a little bit more, and it could have been a little more hard-hitting. And it leads to this particular game that we're meant to see, that they usually have in all of these movies where we get to see it unfold. But Gavin chooses to go in a different direction with it, and we don't actually see what transpires. We only hear about it, and because it's really focused on the Jack Cunningham character. So I just felt that we really needed to see that game. But besides that, I enjoyed most aspects of the film. It was solid and well told. A good, solid and entertaining movie. Final thoughts. At the heart, this is really about redemption. It's really about pain. It's really about how we beat ourselves up and we live in regret, and how we try and overcome that. But we get lost in things that sort of mask how we're really truly feeling, trying to numb ourselves to the pain that we feel. And it looks at that no matter how difficult your circumstances are or what's going on for you, you can overcome these things. You can rise above it all and you can become the person you want to be. But it is a long and hard road. But no one can really tell you what to do. You've sort of got to find it your own way. And I think that's what the film's sort of talking about. And it's very relevant themes with today's society. And I think it's important in that regard. I just think it could have been a little better. I'm going to give The Way Back 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was solid. I thought it could have been a little better, but I enjoyed my experiences with it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please hit subscribe in the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.